This is part one of a build-along in which we'll create a proof of concept brief checker using Describe Legal Engine. We'll start by connecting the engine, adding concept search, and building a case details viewer while showing the real trial and error of vibe coding along the way. Even if you only watch this first part, you'll have enough to start experimenting and building your own ideas with Describe Legal Engine. We'll start with a blank folder and an empty project. I'm using Codex, but it works pretty much the same in Claude Code, Cursor, or whatever other AI coding tool you want to use. The first step is to go into our GitHub repository and copy the URL. We designed it with instructions for AI agents built in so that your agent can work from just the URL without any further explanation. I'll paste in the URL and give a simple prompt to start, just telling my agent here to build a basic app so we can get a connection going. We don't want to give the full instruction for the final app yet. It's like giving instructions for anything. There's less room for error if you can explain it a step at a time, rather than overwhelming with an entire completion plan. As you'll see, the whole key to this is to work on a bite-sized piece and debug and update it until it's working and is what you want. Nothing really works perfectly or exactly the way you want it the first time, so I'll show you how to ask the agent to diagnose and fix things. It's an essential skill to master. As you can see, the agent tells you what it's doing as it's going. Some of it is interesting, and some of it may not make sense at first, but it doesn't have to make sense now. With experience, you'll be able to better interpret if it's doing the right thing. The important part for now is to read the agent's notes and reasoning as it's going, and make any mental notes of things it may be approaching differently than you expected, terms you don't understand, or anything you want clarification on. A good thing about these agents is that they will never tease you for asking what you think is a dumb or obvious question, and they have infinite patience to explain whatever you want to know. I've sped this up a bit as it will take at least a couple of minutes for it to complete, so you can always work on something else and come back to see if it's ready. Okay, it's ready. It tells you the files it created or updated, the internal tests it ran, and how we can run it. But first, let's look at our folder, and we can see that it coded up several files. We'll go back to the agent and see if we can take a look at our new app. It gives us the commands to run it, so let's copy those. There's this little button up here to open a terminal window. I'll click that and paste the commands we copied into the terminal. It runs the commands, and then it tries connecting to Describe. I'm not currently logged in, so it just stops on our website. It's easier if you create an account in advance and make sure you're logged in, but I wanted to demonstrate what you would see if you don't have an account or are signed out. You can create a new account or sign in if you already have one. I'll go ahead and sign in. It looks like I'm signed in, so I'll switch windows and go back to our app. It doesn't look like anything's happening, so I'll press Ctrl-C on my keyboard to stop the process so I can ask the agent what we should do next. As I mentioned earlier, just ask when you are in doubt as to what to do next. This holds true whether you are a complete beginner or an expert. Unlike programming before AI, there's no real reason to spin your wheels for very long trying to figure things out. There's a link in the result to open the app in a browser. External browser means Chrome for me, so I'll click that and see what happens. It looks like we got something. I want to test the connection to Describe first, since that's the most complicated part behind the scenes, so I'll click the Connect button and see what it does. Since we already logged in to Describe, it looks like it worked, so that's great. Now I'll click the button to list the available tools so we can make sure we can make a successful request. That came back very quickly and it looks like the tools are listed. If you've ever seen the term JSON anywhere, that's what this is. It's designed to be computer readable and somewhat human readable at the same time. Now I'll click the search button to make sure that works too. That came back pretty much instantly and looks good, with various details listed for each case. Later you can have your agent go through the search results and display them, or use them however you want. Let's go back and have it add a way to see details for a given case. We'll just tell it exactly what we want. As you get more experienced, or if you have something more specific in mind, You can give more details around how to lay out the screen, what kinds of controls you want, how you want to display the case details, or whatever else you need for your app. An interesting thing to note in the agent's reasoning messages is how it was able to find the appropriate Describe tool it needed automatically, get case details. It looks like it's wrapping up here, so let's see what it did. It says it added a case details area, did some of its own testing, and tells us how to look at it, same as before. Let's scroll down in the terminal and press the up arrow key, which goes to the previous command, in this case the command we entered earlier to start the app. It's giving us an error that says address in use, so let's just ask the agent what to do by literally just typing in what we're seeing. Let's see what suggestions it comes back with to get us past this. Okay, it looks like it's giving us a few options. I like the second option because it stops whatever was already running and cleans things up rather than just leaving that out there and starting the app again. So let's go ahead and copy those commands and then paste them into the terminal. The message that it's listening and the instructions to stop it with Control-C are a good sign, so we'll go back into the browser to check it out. I clicked the browser refresh version to make sure we see the latest version of the app, but now I'm not seeing the Connect to Describe button anymore. I see in the little green box that it is asking us to run the connect part from the command line, but that's not really feasible. We'll just go back to our agent and ask it to add it back to the UI. Again, we don't need to do super long and descriptive prompts. We just say what we need and then tweak it if we need to. As you're seeing, vibe coding is less like writing perfect code on the first try and more like a back and forth process. Build something, try it, fix it, and repeat. Great, it's done. I see that it says to restart the app, so I'll use Control-C and then the up arrow to restart, and then we'll go back into the browser to test again. We'll click Reload on the browser, and thankfully we see our requested connect button. I don't know if it keeps us connected from last time, so I'll just click it to be safe, but also to test that it's working. Okay, good. We're connected and we can continue on. In order to test our new case details viewer, we first need to run a search so we can grab a case ID to view. The search came back nice and quickly, and we'll just copy a case ID out of the results. Later on, you can figure out how and if you want to display this JSON data in your own app. Let's scroll down, paste in the case we copied from above, and hope for the best. It looks like it worked nicely and shows various details about the case we requested. You are welcome to stop here and start building on your own now that you see the pattern of how it's done. Or you can move on to part 2 as we take it a little further and work on the prototype of a brief checker that the title of this video mentions.